Hi and welcome to the Sunday Lunch Project Manager podcast for Sunday the 23rd of January 2022. This is your host Nigel Creaser, and in this episode we meet Joel Stone and Andy Rao, the head honchos from Codebreak, the marketing that sells guys. This episode, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome on a new sponsor to the show. The sponsor is a company called Tamplo, who offer a cloud-based service, an application which turns meetings into action plans. Their two strengths that they highlight are it's dealing with meetings. It gives structure to meetings and meaning to meetings. It gives a clear agenda with meeting perimeters to stick to the plan, shared agenda where invitees can be add information and be fully prepared for the session. Leading the meetings by going through each item and using the tooling to do all that while capturing your minutes, all at the same time sending it to all of your attendees. The meetings are shorter, more enjoyable, which all of us want to get away from all the long, unuseful meetings that we have. Get more collaboration and sticking to the agenda too. And in theory, no one leaves a meeting without knowing who is in charge of what and who's got to do what. Specifically useful in recurrent meetings, which have agendas that are repeated. The other great strength of it is around the project and task management and then following up. There's a clear dashboard of people's tasks they've got to do. There's integration with existing tools as well. So if you want to use that to integrate with your current tooling, you can do so. Or you can use the tool itself and use that as for driving your projects, your departmental, or just individual tasks. I've started using it a little bit at home to play with that, and I like nice, clean, simple interface, very straightforward to set up, very straightforward to use. The idea is to leave no task left undone, create more efficiency and motivation, and also clear action plans for everything. It's easy, it's intuitive to get work done with more peace of mind, more efficiency and more collaboration. So obviously with my latest view on productivity and focus on that, I can hardly recommend using a tool like this. I get a kickback on this, obviously. The situation and how it all works. So if you either jump in the show notes or pop along to put this URL into your website, tinyurl.com/Nigel Creaser Tamplo. All one word, Nigel Creaser Tamplo, CREASER, and Tamplo is spelled TAMPLO. Let me know how you get on. And thank you, Tamplo, for your support. So, what the heck's been going on over the past couple of weeks in my personal update? I would say the most significant thing is I've spent the last couple of weeks, or one of the most significant things, spent the last couple of weeks doing full weeks, 5-day weeks. Unheard of from me since March last year, which has been okay. Quite tiring, but okay. I've been getting on with it. So that wasn't too bad. I've done a few podcast interviews, so we've got some of those in the bag and setting up a few others for later in the year. I think we have currently the schedule runs through quite comfortably now through till early April. Still on the lookout for a few others. I've got a few pending later in the year. So looking forward to doing some more of those. I've been trying to promote the book a little bit, and I've done a few interviews, and I have some interviews coming to talk about the book on different stations. And I'm trying to remember if, and my memory serves me correctly, I was on the PMO office, project management office hours interview a couple of weeks ago. So since the last time I spoke, yes, it was. I was on a live show with the great PMO Joe, which long-time listeners will have heard him on this show, talking about the book and talking about project management and shooting the proverbial about stuff, which was quite nerve-wracking because it was my first live interview that was live streamed on LinkedIn and on YouTube. So first video interview that was streamed live. I'd done the one just before Christmas that was a live radio one, and I really enjoyed it. As I say, it was a little bit nerve-wracking, but great all the same. So that was kind of all that sort of stuff. What else has been going on? I think we've just gone through Blue Monday, and I think a few of us may have been feeling that a little. If you have, my thoughts on it are talk to people, talk to others, tell them how you feel, ask them how they feel. And we can all, through January, it kind of is a bit of a downtime, and it can be a bit down to earth compared to the whole excitement around the holiday season. So I'm working on keeping myself buoyant. I had kicked off running a couple of miles every day, but after a week of poor sleep, I had a few days where I just went, no, not doing this. I was just absolutely shattered. So got to reset my goals on that. Still got my goals for different running distances and speed. Not quite as scary as last year's marathon I signed up to in February. So yeah, that is really all I've got to talk about me and what is going on. So I think we'll get onto this interview with Joel and Andy, one of the few double headers that I've done. We talk a little bit about how marketing for business and how they use marketing, how the projects that they put together and methodology and their thinking about it, and then go into a little bit around how marketing is key to your project and the branding of your project. So I hope you enjoy that and speak later.
Today I've got Joel Stone and Andy Rao on the show, the founders and head honchos at Codebreak. Codebreak team is sought by leading business people for their help and insights into marketing, specifically marketing that sells. Their clients have enjoyed results from such as £1,500 worth of sales from 100 quid's worth of spend, and doubling the speed of their growth. They're basically results-based marketing, and I know these guys. They're local to me in Shrewsbury. They are brilliant. They're great fun. And welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
I'm a fun one.
That's a very kind introduction, but I think I wrote that.
Yeah.
I mangled most of it though.
I'd still change a couple of words. I'm not happy with a couple of words.
Yeah. I know what you'll change it to now.
Yeah, you always tinker every time you visit your website. But that's marketing, isn't it? You just always look, hone, refine, tweak, make it better.
True story. I had to ban Andy from the website once.
From our own website.
Is this the same thing of whether they should really ban George Lucas from touching anything to do with Star Wars?
Yeah, exactly. I'm a hand shot first kind of guy, and Andy's like, I want Jabba to look like a slug and slide across the screen.
I want Jar Jar Binks back.
Yeah.
I know
double words. Copywriting, just that's our bread and butter, and that's how we help a lot of businesses. Just the power of words, really.
Yeah.
Because I think nowadays so many people focus on the imagery because they've got this amazing camera in their pocket, and it's all about the Instagram, it's all about filters and making things look cool. But if the words accompanying that post or the words feature on a website don't compel someone to take action, then it's a bit of fluff, really. And I think it's much underused now, I think, which is a real shame. So anyone out there who's at university or leaving school and they can write, you can make a living. And I wish someone told me that at school. Make a living from writing. Would have saved me a lot of years of pain. and explain to my dad why I didn't want to get medical.
Well, that reminds me that I'm also talking to two best-selling authors.
Yeah, weird, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you must be a bestseller now.
No. I haven't managed to ship that many. Although there's one here.
Cunningly positioned. How did you find the process of writing?
I find it enjoyable and difficult.
Yeah.
All at the same time. Editing, I find it more enjoyable than editing some of the others. But at certain parts of it, you sit there going, how did I write that rubbish and stuff like that? I've probably got a lower bar to quality than you guys anyway. But when I'm doing, I'm kind of going off on a tangent bit. I've got a little novel that I've been hammering at for a little while.
Oh.
And really enjoying that because I've got the extra line of it, I've got structure on it. But I've heard Terry Pratchett say once, or read something, he said that your first draft is telling yourself a story. And it really is, because there's things like I was writing the other day and I discovered that my main character had a sister that I didn't know he had until writing it. It was just, and it's like as surprising as Squid Game sort of thing. It's that kind of really.
I haven't seen Squid Game.
It's worth watching.
My 11-year-old daughter's watched it, which I hear is not wise.
No.
Is it very violent?
Yeah, it's quite grisly in parts, right?
Yeah, it is grisly, but it was entertaining. I found it entertaining. It was. I can see why people enjoyed it. It was quite shock, but also quite cleverly done, and the characters quite well.
I'll add that to the list.
Say again, sorry.
I'll add that to the list.
Yeah.
Just time at the moment, just here, there, everywhere. Like I say, just come back from 2 days in Glasgow. It's a good marketing session. That was really cool. Just always trying to play catch up. There's so much happening. I suppose in the world of marketing, to be honest, I think people are realizing it's not about the next shiny things. There's always a new shiny thing in marketing, in social media. Like, what's that chat room place called? Clubhouse. That was massive.
You sound like an expert.
Yeah, that was like massive. And then of course, every time I go on it now, there's about Grant Cardone and Rob Moore, and that's about it.
Well, Twitter have got their own audio rooms now. Facebook are about to launch their own audio rooms.
Yeah. So. Spotify was a green room or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes people forget the basic premises of marketing, which are market, message, media. They'll never change. The platforms will come and go, but don't follow the platform so much as remember those 3 core principles. Know who you're writing to, know what to say to them, and know where they are consuming their media. That's always been the same.
Which market, message, media are the principles behind our upcoming strategy day.
Ta-da! Yeah, little plug there, Nigel.
Yeah, you've got an up and coming strategy day then.
Yeah, we are launching in December free strategy day. For anyone who's interested, really, but the first one will be in December. We'll hold them monthly after that. And you can come in and you will leave with an outline strategy for your business, your organization, your charity, whatever, your podcast, whatever it might be, and know exactly who you're talking to, how you should talk to them, and where you can find them, which I think should be the start of all marketing, but very often isn't.
No, it's kind of, you get it with. I've heard you guys talk about this before. You have people, and you have it in IT as well, where you have someone coming to you going, in my right, we want this system, please. Can you implement that system, please? And it's kind of like, hang on, what are your requirements? What do you need to do? No, we want that. No, what are your requirements? No, we want that. And then you start from there and you go, well, it doesn't do this. Yeah, well, now we have to hack it and change it to do that. And I've heard both of you talk about the fact that you get people coming to you and going, I want a website, please. And like you say, the conversation you would have with them is going to be, well, what do you want the website to do? Having a website's neither use nor ornament unless it's servicing a need for your customers. Yeah, do pay attention to your podcast, guys. I'm proving that.
Appreciate that.
You're the one.
We knew there was a listener somewhere. Yeah.
Actually, I had a podcast guest this morning. She's listened to our podcast in the supermarket. She's read our book. She's got post-it notes throughout the book. She's got notes and doodles throughout the book. She knew more about the book than we did. And yeah, she was great. So I think we just need to get cracking on Well, I was going to say the second book, but we need to actually get the audio of the first book done first. So we must just lock ourselves away for a day and get that thrashed out. Have you done audio for your book, Nigel?
I am planning to, but I haven't done yet. It's one of those ones where it's kind of like, right, as you can tell, I have a really sophisticated studio setup. And therefore I've got a microphone, I've got it working, I've got a bit of worked out how to do it, and realised it's quite a bit of hacking around for post-processing and stuff like that with the kit I've got. So I need to find the time to do it at the right time rather than do it properly.
Yeah, if it doesn't go into our diary, it just doesn't get done.
Yeah.
What did you say? Oh, we should come in on a Saturday and do it.
Well, when Shrewsbury Town are playing away, maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
Few beers, make for an entertaining read.
Yeah.
Although Andy, you won't be having any with you.
You what?
You won't have any, will you?
Any what?
Beers.
Beers.
Oh no! I'm. But you know, this thing we were up at Glasgow, this 2-day thing. About a third of the people there weren't drinking. So, because I was a bit worried after lockdown, when you start going out again, what happens if, you know, you're in a social situation? You know, what's it going to be like when you're actually in a pub or a restaurant and not having a drink? I know it's been all right actually, and I would say I'm just as witty and debonair as when I was drinking, Joel.
Yeah, and it was a high bar.
Joel stopped drinking now as well, Nigel. So
yeah,
he's having a
Andy's holding me accountable to it, but yeah, I'm off.
Yeah, so you're pretty good on drinking, though, aren't you, Nigel?
I do a lot of the brew dog. I like a lot of the brew dogs. So the alcohol-free brew dogs is why.
Yeah, that's what we were drinking at
the Punk AF.
Yeah, well, yeah, Nanny Steaks. I like the Nanny Steaks.
Oh, Nanny Steak. Yeah, what's the other one? Heineken Zero. The Peroni Libra. I like that one. Yeah, that's really nice. But yeah, it's just got stuff to focus on.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, I suppose because me and my wife like a regular drink, it was just a big decision we made, and yeah, it's been great. Love it.
Yeah, I remember you talking about it. Yeah. So obviously, my my listeners are all project managers.
Yeah,
all three of them are project managers, and the thing that's always sat in my head is project management. We, as project managers, very much follow the processes. We've got lots of laid out processes that you follow that are proven, and you take the relevant kind of governance that you want that is appropriate to what you're doing, and apply it, and staff management, procurement things, all those different things. But depending on the nature of the change you have got it's the stakeholders, and it really falls into stakeholder management, but also team management as well. For this is that I see there is a brand for your project. Now, whether it's good, bad, like HS2 is a great example. Yeah, it's whoever's running HS2.
not if you live in Leeds.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a bunch of the public stakeholders. I saw something on the TV, and some people whose houses, one street, it was going to go through the middle of the street. One set of houses was going to stay there, the other wasn't. I couldn't quite work out how that was going to work, but anyway. But you've got those stakeholders there, and the perception of your project. You can have public stakeholders who you need to market the change to them as a positive, or engage them, or whatever. Internally with your organisation, you're going to have a change that maybe affects loads of people in the organisation. You're going to be changing their processes, maybe, or you need them to contribute to the project in order to understand stuff, so you can make the changes. So, say with the IT systems getting the requirements, and I always see that it is a marketing and kind of sales activity at times that you have as a project manager. And that's really the kind of thing I wanted to chat about, just kind of go through a few things about where you've experienced that kind of thing, how you've done it within your organisation or with other organisations when you've got a bit wider, maybe a few sort of simple, straightforward, if that's the right phrasing for it, for a project manager who's setting up their project and maybe struggling to get engagement with stakeholders.
Yeah, we do this with our own team. We do this with our own team because as you can imagine, we swan off to various different trainings and conferences and masterminds, and then we come back full of big ideas.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the ideas are useless unless we've got buy-in from our team. And the way we do it is they always have to align with our company vision. So if they don't align with our company vision, they're fundamentally wrong in the first place.
Mhm.
So that's important. And then we work back from the result. So this is what we want. This is how we think we're going to get there. And then we market that into the team on the basis that they then understand why. So we call that start with why.
Right. Okay. So start with why. So that kind of what's in it for me kind of conversation as well.
Yeah. So we had to very quickly stop talking about ideas in terms of mine and Andy's idea, and start talking about things in terms of is Codebreak's idea. So immediately that helps with buy-in from the off, because they feel like we're not just doing it to line our pockets or doing it to make our lives easier or whatever it might be. And then the other side of it is what's in it for me. So very much, well, if you can get, for example, if you can do X, Y, and Z, you'll actually shave 30 minutes a day off the time you're doing grunt work. And we're not going to ask you to fill that time with anything else. So you can use that time to read, you can use that time to play pool, you can use that time to learn. And immediately people are a lot more into it.
Yeah, so identifying what's in it for them. I suppose that's the sort of thing, isn't it, with bigger projects as well.
That's all anyone wants to know from the top down. Ultimately, there are staff, there are customers, there are potential customers, but they're all people. I know we talk about leads a lot, and we talk about prospects a lot, we talk about customers a lot, but yeah, they're all people, and every person wants to know what's in it for me. We are, by our excuse me, by our very nature, selfish. So how are you going to get your team to buy into you? Like Joel said, what's in it for them? But it's much easier when you start with the end in mind, and let's work backwards from that. And we do that with all our clients, no matter how big or small they are. What is the outcome you want to achieve? And that's a startable, like Joel said, start with why. That's just that's one of our values, and so many companies probably don't have those values, or have any values, or a clear vision. And if they do, how well is that communicated with the team? So, okay, I know we got 6 values. Can you name them? In fact, can you name any of them? Can you name 5 of them, 4 of them? And it's a lot easier to work with people. And, that drives your recruitment policy for a start. If people don't align with your values, no. Maybe there's a potential new customer who comes to you. Do they align with my values? No. Well, we can't help you. We can't work with you, which is difficult, but everyone has got different values, but it's up to each company, the project manager, what are the values behind this? And once you haven't started right, you're almost always ice skating uphill. You can't turn back, you can't jump in the TARDIS and go back in time. It's getting that done right first. So that's maybe where the more thinking time needs to be developed. So it's launched right from the very beginning, and then the only way is forward.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And being single-minded about it as well. Somebody said to us the other day, Usain Bolt, he's there, training for this one moment in 4 years, and when he's like lining up with his thumb and index finger down the start line, he's not looking left to right and thinking, "Fuck me, these guys look fast." All he's looking at is like looking down the line, single focus. He knows he's done the work. He's done the preparation, and that's where he's going. And not saying like us mere mortals can have that single-mindedness, but you'll reach the outcome quicker if you do know where you're going.
Yeah, I've seen it quite often with projects where we have people who, conflicting or sort of vying for priority. on the deliveries that are coming out of it, because they're not always for one area. We have multiple areas wanting different things, and people have different priorities. And then I've been subject to it myself, where you as an individual or you as a team are going, right, today we're facing this direction. Great, okay, boom, you charge on, you do all your best work. Phone rings at 8 o'clock in the morning the following day, going, right, that what we were doing yesterday, we've changed now, we're going this direction. Right, okay, and it's no exaggeration to say that I was in situations where that change of direction was on a daily basis for several months.
Wow.
Sometimes it was circular as well, and it was it's exhausting, to be honest, and it ends up where you just go, well, what you end up doing to your team is go, well, yeah, it's going to change tomorrow. Why and you lose that engagement, don't you? You use that investment in wanting to do that next bit. Because the way you said about the why, again, if you're going there, well, somewhere in that sponsorship area, in that stakeholder, the why isn't clear, is it? Because they might, yeah, and that's kind of, because I remember, I think it was a business analyst course type thing was what came through, using the why as a really good question when talking to someone about what they want with their computer system. Right, I want it to do this, and why do you want it to do this? Oh, because we do this, and why do you do that? Oh, because we do this, and why is it that done that way? Why? I mean, actually, what you can stop anywhere along there, but you don't get the until you get to the point where until you get to the point where you can't ask a why question. You can keep going, can't you, and get to the point where you go, right, that's the real crux of it.
Yeah.
The reason I do it is because I want to get out the door at 5 o'clock. Okay, that's why you do it, not because Joe Blogs over there once it says it's the actual root cause of something.
Yeah, and you'll never get marketing buy-in and therefore project buy-in without that clarity. Ultimately, someone within the team, if there's a weak link in the team, it'll be the person with the least amount of clarity on why they're doing whatever it is they're doing.
Because you had that with our client, didn't you? The one who you're drilling down. Why do you want this to happen? And it turned out to do with his kids, didn't it?
Yeah.
So it's just it's all about generating more sales.
Yeah. So we have these meetings with our clients who inevitably have a project or a campaign or something that they want to launch, and ask them why. And never, I think, certainly in the last 2 years, nobody said because I want to make more money. Nobody said that. And if you get them to the right point where they trust you, it will be like the example Andy's talking about. The client had a disabled son and wanted to be able to send him to a very good school. I mean, ultimately that is about money, but the reason isn't money, and so
money's a tool in that instance, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. We've had someone who wanted to retire to Ibiza, and they basically didn't want to leave it so late to retire that when they do, they couldn't enjoy it. So, and then some people, it's been, things like, I want to make an impact in the world, or I want to leave a legacy, or I want to do something worthwhile. And when you start talking to people on that granular level about their purpose in life, you can start to feed into that. And so from a project perspective, when you understand the individual elements, the people involved and their purpose, you can say, well, look, if we do this project, that's going to allow you the capacity to have more of an impact on the world, or that's going to allow you the time off to take the holiday you wanted, or whatever it is. But I think, humans are way more complex than the 80s and 90s would have you believe. And it isn't just about a bigger paycheck or a better lunch or, a promotion.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I was reading a couple of articles not long ago about the fact that the different workforce, I can never remember the gender references, but the latest group of people who are coming into the workforce, as opposed to me in the late 80s when I was going into there and I wanted to be a yuppie basically. That's where I was. That was kind of where you wanted to be, the mobile phone and the Porsche. That was the dream down at the City of London, outside Lloyd's of London or whatever. That was for me. I have hidden shallows, you see. The thing that the article I was reading is that it's much less about being something and more about doing something.
Yeah.
The crop of kids these days want to, people join, I said kids, that they want to achieve something, they want to do something, they want to be part of something and contribute to the world rather than be a doctor, be an accountant, be a marketing person, be a project manager. You don't want to be a project manager, accidentally happens. But it's about what you can do with those skills. Those skills are just part of the tooling you have to be able to do something, aren't they?
Yeah, we're finding more and more, particularly with younger staff, but even the slightly more senior staff, it's experiential. Everything's about experiences. So a financial bonus is not an incentive. They don't care. It doesn't make any difference because ultimately they're going to go and do whatever they need to, whatever they want to do anyway. So whether they've got the money or not, they're going to do it basically. But if you say, like we took our team to Alton Towers, that was far more motivating to them for multiple reasons. The shallow reason, they can put it on Instagram, and that's a big thing now. That's their community. They can tell their friends that's important to them. It gives them a higher sense of worth because essentially money to young people now is just a tool, like we talked about before. So that doesn't actually, they don't draw their worth from how much money they have. They draw their worth from what they've experienced, where they've been, the things they've done. And ultimately, I think most people are getting to be like that now. I think certainly a lot of people through COVID were like, actually spending time with my family or going for a long walk every day is far more important to me than getting promoted every 6 months.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the interview with Andy and Joel. They're entertaining guys, and I do recommend their podcast, the Stay Hungry podcast. Have a listen to that. It's well worth listening to. I think in this section we mentioned their book. Have a look in the links and stuff. We've got a link to their latest bestseller book that's out there. That's thank you very much for those guys coming on, and come along next week and have a listen. If you enjoyed the show, it would be brilliant if you would like to support it. Number of ways you can do that. Number one is sharing it with your friends and colleagues. The more people who hear about it, the more people get to get the experience from my fantastic guests. If you want to go a bit more than that, you could jump onto wherever you listen to this and give me a review. 5 stars would be lovely. And if you want to look at throwing some cash towards me, there are a number of ways you can do that. You can pop along to the Patreon/SundayLunchPM there, or you could grab one of the books that I've published over the years and obviously get a little bit of cash from those. On the website, under the shop, under the shop, I've got links to all of my previous guests' books. Andy and Joel's is on there. And if you jump along to there, you can buy a copy of their books, and I get a little kickback from that too. And obviously, with our new headline sponsor of Tamplo, popping along, signing up, and if you end up using it, I will get a kickback there as well. So finally, obviously, as I say every time, the most important thing though is come back next time. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.
Well, it's goodbye from me, Nigel Creaser, and it's goodbye from him, the Sunday Lunch PM. Goodbye.